welcome to another episode of Deep in the Heart with Rocky Christenberry, Dane Easley,
and Earl Roberts.
Michael Earl Roberts. I'm going to call you Mikey still.
It's Earl.
That's the way it is.
Earl.
So today's topic, I can already tell you, is pretty much a heated topic because just us getting our thoughts together to begin this episode, we've already ended up in some pretty deep debates just getting here. In fact, I don't know if you can see Dane's face, but I think he's already angry. So, I mean, we're setting the stage right this time. Yeah. Today's topic is tattoos, piercings, and pink hair. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And I know from my personal, background, upbringing, my dad was like, you don't come home with jewelry where it doesn't belong. If I mentioned a tattoo, I mean, his head would probably explode. This is probably the case. And I think that Dane's upbringing must be
very similar.
Very similar. Now, I will say, and I'm speaking for you guys, I'll let you both talk, but Mikey is the one of the three of us that actually does have a tattoo.
Multiple.
Okay, multiple tattoos.
Yeah, I was raised in the same way y'all were. But I was a little more rebellious than you.
A lot more rebellious.
Yeah, you've been that way. We know you're rebellious. So that's beside the point. And then your wife is a hairdresser, and so she not only colors hair, but she plays with the color of her hair. But I think all our wives do that.
She never really did her whole head. It was always a streak here and a streak there. But it was just fashion.
Yeah.
And she's got a few tattoos, maybe more than 10.
Maybe.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and put a disclaimer out there. I do have opinions, and I'm passionate to a certain degree. I'm not angry with anybody or anything else like that. I'm just trying to make a point, and typically Mikey does a really good job of
bringing the best out of Dane.
Yeah, the best out of Dane. Actually, he's more like a devil's advocate in the literal sense. I think of him as the devil. Sometimes when we have conversations, because he knows how to push my buttons, and he makes me seem like a bad guy, and I'm not. So
no,
anybody
I'm not making you seem like a bad guy. I'm just making you see it from the other side,
dude. And I do see the other side to a certain degree, but there are some things I don't understand, and I cannot comprehend why some people do some of the things that they do. I really don't understand it.
Well, maybe it's just something they like.
Right. But the point I was trying to make earlier is if you are 110% satisfied with your life or comfortable with your appearance, why on earth would you try to change it? A leopard cannot turn into a hippopotamus just because he wants to. A human being cannot turn into a leopard just because there's a good tattoo artist.
As I said earlier, just because they're covered in tattoos from, they shave their heads and get tattoos and go all the way to their feet. You still can't see inside that person's soul.
I agree.
And I'm not saying they don't look like freaks.
I'm just saying, that's it. That's just a shock of it. And so then they get upset with me because I'm doing exactly what they want me to do. I'm gawking at them. I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's like when you drive by an accident on the road, how many people look away? You want to see if there's any blood or guts or gore. That's exactly what happens. You see a guy come in and he's got his lips split and his teeth are sharp.
I was saying, this is a little bit of a heated topic. I'm just saying.
Yeah. What would you say? I asked you this earlier. You tell the camera, if you walk in church and there's this guy up there that's got his teeth filed down and he's got horns sticking off his head and he's tattooed from top to bottom and he gives you the best sermon you've ever heard, what are you going to say? He ain't a Christian.
No,
he's a bad person.
I'm not judging. I would close my eyes probably and I would realize that this is evidence of God's grace. Because
how would you feel if he's sitting there preaching and looks out there and goes, look at that guy, he's got a big old fat belly and he's making fun of my face.
But I would say, if I were the guy, I wouldn't do that because I realize that I might be distracting someone who would listen to it.
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of like, if I were to
it's all about that person instead of about God. Because you can't help but be distracted by that. And to your fat joke, guess what? I can do crunches, okay? How can you get that off of your face? How can you get the horns out of your head? That's what I need to know. How can you reverse that? You can't.
I'm Mackie. I can't believe you called him fat.
I can't.
It's all out of love.
I'm a little bit overweight. I'm not fat. The camera adds 200
I'm
pounds.
60.
Oh yeah, the my pillow guy.
I'm 60 pounds overweight with tattoos. I'm going to hell.
I didn't say that. You put that on.
You know what I'm gonna do tomorrow?
What?
I'm gonna go in there to the salon and I'm gonna get my hair done pink.
Do it.
Well, Mikey, you don't have much to color pink.
Exactly.
Just
It would be hard to tell. Do your beard.
You're wearing that. Maybe.
Okay, what about my beard?
Maybe your beard should be pink.
I tried the
Just for me.
just for men and it really stupid. My family made fun of me.
Hey.
No, were they judging you?
Yes.
Well, look, I'm not judging anybody. Help me understand. If y'all have a different perspective like Mikey does, I can't yell at you over the computer, especially if you voice your opinion.
So tattoos, in my mind, I guess is the way early in age, I always put them in blocks. Like, if you're a Marine and you get a tattoo because you were part of a group,
right?
It makes sense. I mean, it's like a brand on a cow. You're part of the group, right? Those made total sense to me. But it was when I was growing up, Mikey. Seriously, if you weren't a Marine and you had a tattoo, then you must be a biker
or a carnival.
Right? But hang on, though.
Or a carnival.
Okay, that's fine. But
and that was your livelihood.
You said,
someone come looking at all your tattoos. That's how you made a living.
Okay, but you say a Marine came home with a tattoo, but what made that tattoo okay? And
the Band of Brothers.
To me, that was the Band of Brothers.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. So he joined the club.
Exactly.
And then the other ones joined the biker club.
Well, these are the band of my family.
But and I understand that, dude. And I told you I've never judged you for your tattoos, and I understand. But I don't have that. I don't have that relationship with everybody I see. And if I see Leopard Guy out there, I'm just in my mind trying to figure out what put you in that place, what possessed you to go that far, because that's over the edge, in my opinion. Even the guys that get the tattoos all over their necks and all over the sides of their face and stuff like that, where it's so obvious, it's just a cry for attention. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Isn't that a whole lot of it? I mean, I know it's not all the cases. We'll go to pink hair and piercings here in just a minute, but isn't that a whole lot of what it is? It's trying to define themselves.
Exactly. But if they sit there and they want you to look at them, they've put the spotlight on themselves, and you do look at them, don't be upset, because you got exactly what you wanted. I was looking.
You looked. There's a difference in looking and gawking.
Dude, I can't help it. Sorry.
But you told me yesterday at Raising Cane's you were gawking.
Dude, I'm sorry. The guy had ears with holes that were, you could put your hand through them.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You can see,
I don't get it.
Okay,
it's like this. Like a nice looking woman walks in,
right,
and you notice that she's a nice looking woman.
And you
There's
feel
a difference
shame.
in going, hey, that's a nice looking woman, and just gawking at her.
Dude, and I agree.
She's gonna get offended after you just stare.
I understand, and that's the reason why, after the guy saw me looking at him, I kind of looked down. Because it's a shame where you're like, I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on here, man.
Is that really the bottom? Is that you're down there?
Exactly. Is that light? Is that daylight I see through there? And it was.
So
it was like you could stick this cup through his ear.
If he had a bone through his nose.
If it had a bone, I would have been the same way. I'm sorry. It's off-putting to me. And I don't know him. I didn't go up and introduce myself. I should have, and then I probably would have felt better, and we would have had a moment where we could be at ease with one another, and I would know his whole life story and what possessed him to put the holes that big.
Maybe he came from the tribe in Africa or whatever.
Exactly.
That's the rite of passage.
He's a clicker. I don't know, and maybe we could have had a click conversation because I do click well. But I'm just saying.
What do you think about the women that put the things on their neck and stretch
I
their
don't
necks?
get it.
I mean, that's part of
their culture. But are you seriously suggesting that 400 million people in the United States, half of them are from Africa with rings on their necks?
I mean,
that's one specific tribe. One specific tribe.
Okay.
So it is a tribal thing. I think it was a status thing in years past. I mean, whether it be tattoos or whether it be piercings or whether it be, long ears. The long ears was supposed to be for wisdom or something, wasn't it?
Right.
Way back in ancient times. And so I guess our ears are shrunk. So
you want to talk about judging people? I'm judged because I don't have tattoos and big holes in my ears. If I go to a biker bar, they're looking at me going, "Look at this prep.
You know,
Look at this straight guy. Look at this weirdo."
they probably do.
Yeah.
Look at this opinion.
I do have a nice handlebar mustache though. That would
they're probably going, "Oh, that guy's judging us."
Yes. It's like, look at this redneck with his big handlebar mustache.
He go into our bar and judge
Who
us.
does he think he is?
Okay.
Come up in here at our place, all
Yeah,
dressed
'cause I'm a-
proper and clean.
I'm a judge. I'm sorry, but I don't. There's some things I just don't get.
So you're all right in a room next to somebody who has a big hole in their ear.
I am. I didn't have any problem eating my food. I mean, or anything else like that. It was
staring.
There was a momentary distraction. After a while, once I looked down and got away from it, I was able to enjoy my meal with my family, and I didn't think about it again until we started this conversation.
So I find when there's times in life where you end up face to face having a conversation with somebody that has an awkward piercing, or
you just focus on it.
Yeah, it's like you're going cross-eyed because you can't stop looking. But usually, once you get past that, the conversation, we find you can talk to them.
Right.
I mean, they're not freaks.
Yeah, no, and
I'm sure there's some inner demons in there that cause them
shut
to
up.
do all this.
I'm gonna have a big smile on my face when I walk up to the guy with a rod stuck through his tongue. He's talking my fifth. I can't help it. I'm gonna start off with a smile.
So
he might be a great guy though.
The tongue one really, really bothers me.
It bothers
I don't
me too.
quite get it. I mean, I
Because he
don't.
got beat up head, man.
Yeah.
He can't talk what the thing ain't done.
I don't really totally understand it.
I don't understand the whole tongue piercing thing. I do not.
I don't either. I don't
What
get
about the belly button?
Dude, I don't know anything. I'll tell you what.
Maybe
I
we
appreciated it when the girls were young and they were in the bikini, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at that. That's cool. But when I had a daughter, I was like, no, heck no.
I
it's
think
not
we
right.
probably should leave the places that.
Yeah.
We probably should leave that alone. I guess.
Well, that's the
Well,
issue.
if you
here.
can't see it though, that
Would
was
you-
visually.
Would you say?
it was.
Okay, you're right. If you can't see it, we don't know it. We're good.
Yeah. Just keep it to yourself, okay? I don't need to know.
Don't need to know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I
But
ain't judging
piercing
no
is
one.
just the same. It's an expression. It's a personal expression.
And I realize people do it for health reasons too. I mean,
That's right.
We know
all
a girl.
somebody who did it that stopped migraines, and apparently there are
Yes.
some
Benefits.
My wife's got one.
It's kind of acupuncture, right?
Yeah.
It's just a more permanent model
Yeah.
of it.
Well, I don't know that there's an acupuncture spot on the nose. I really don't.
I don't either. I don't get it.
I don't have a
I don't
problem.
know.
I'm-
You can mash right in there and tears come out.
I'm always
There's
like,
something that
I'm
connected
always
there.
like, I wonder how that feels on their nose. Because
I
I
have
can't.
actually asked people before, that had them in some places like that. I'm like, does that hurt? And they're like, oh no.
Or your eyebrow,
Oh gosh, yeah, barbell up there, and
and it weights you down. I mean, you can't be a track star with that stuff on. I guarantee
but
you.
apparently it's.
Well, Dane, how do you feel about pink hair?
I really don't have a problem with pink hair.
So I read on the internet because I looked it up for this. It makes you feel lighthearted and free.
Actually,
Okay.
what it is an expression against the man, is what they say.
It's
But
It's
okay, but
pink.
here, okay, it's
Because
also
it's pink.
it's also an individuality thing, Rocky. And to me, if 10,000 people have their hair pink, how are you an individual? You're just like everybody else if you got pink hair. If it's an expression of individuality,
Now,
me
I
being
didn't.
me,
I didn't choose pink just to make
Yeah.
that be the
Or
the
purple
point was
or
the
green.
colors,
Yes.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, and to me, what's different about it, and again, I grew up in a time where that didn't happen. What's different about it is it used to hair color generally tended to be toward, I want to be a redhead instead of a blonde.
Right.
They were normal accepted hair colors. Now we seem to be getting into the whole world's color palette.
Okay, well, when you were a kid, and I was younger,
Yeah.
the
Just
hair
call me
color,
old, right? Yeah.
yeah,
that was when I'm sure the hair colors first started, back years and years ago.
Mhm.
They didn't have hair color, so they didn't do that. Well,
no, they didn't.
When
My
they
grandmother
started
had blue
doing
hair
it-
when I was little.
when they started it, yes, because it was gray. when they started doing it, people back then were like, "Oh my God, look what they're doing!" But it's become more common now because
It is. It's
everybody
more
does it. So is that an?
I
is
have
that-
friends with pink hair.
Is it an antiquated? Is that belief an antiquated belief that there's some issue with it?
No, it's not. Here's the thing. It gets more outrageous. And all I'm saying is, it's just people, it seems like a cry for attention. My daughter had platinum hair one time. And it looked cute. It was adorable, you know. She had purple hair one time, and it was cute. I'm just saying.
But what was the attention she was seeking?
I don't know. That's the point I'm trying. She might not have been seeking any attention. Just seemed that way to me.
She might have been rebelling against it.
Could have been.
Yes,
Could have been.
against his
Hey.
antiquated ideas.
Well, when she came home, I told her, I said, hey, I think that looks cute. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't pull it off, you know, because I'm not 20-something years old. And, but my deal is,
we've gone over the tattoos, we've gone over the piercings mildly, and we've gone over some hair. At this point, is it just your perception of things?
exactly.
Everybody sees it differently.
Exactly.
And me being the guy that's got tattoos and my wife's got tattoos and pierces and does her hair, I have a difference of opinion than you do about
Right.
it.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
But have I ever treated you any different because you do have tattoos?
Well, I don't. No, you haven't.
And I haven't, and I wouldn't because I'm not that kind of person. I'm just,
But
it's
give
hard
me
for
this
me.
information. Why do you see me different
I don't.
with tattoos than you do someone else that's got more tattoos? Why do you
It's
see
not, I guess it's placement and the fact that I know the backstory. Okay, if I knew everybody, which we don't, and it's obvious, that's the whole point of being open-minded and you know, whatever, is to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. I totally understand that. My problem is, you don't have any tattoos on your face, okay? You haven't transformed your whole persona into some kind of ridiculous animal that, you know, you couldn't possibly be. And so that right there, I just really have a hard time with that. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
The only thing I'm saying
And even if you have pink hair, a pink-haired leopard, that's tough. That's the worst one.
is at any time, and I know how you feel about somebody that's tatted up real, you know, just everywhere. And you see, like, I've just got a few, and you don't, but you know who I am.
Right.
Would you ever be able to walk up to somebody that's covered in tattoos and not see those tattoos?
No. I'm sorry. I would not be able to not see them, but that doesn't mean that I would judge them because of their tattoos. Because I have met some very, 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 very nice people, and I've seen people do things, you know, very generous things in at the store, you know, that had tattoos, and I thought, you know what, I have to change the way I think about certain things because I do realize I used to be pretty judgmental. I'm not as much anymore. The more older I get and the more mature I get, the more I realize things that, just like you said, there are certain experiences that I am not privileged to, that I have no idea about, and I don't know where those people are coming from. I just have to see who they are today and what they're bringing.
I have to do that. And I'll admit, my background is probably closer to Dane's.
Right.
You know, I probably have a preconceived notion when I see somebody with a tattoo. We were eating dinner last night. I saw a guy. He was sitting over next to us, and he was all over his face. And you know, I automatically just instinctively background program running away must have been in a gang at some point in his life. You know, and I know that's probably not true, but that's
These days.
I mean, it's an automatic program. And then you know, then you're thinking, well, then I saw this guy that was a singer he looks a lot like him, and maybe it's just part of his branding. You know, and so I began to reason it out, but I think the violent breaking makes it hard for me to just automatically openly accept.
Well, in my opinion, I know you see it differently, but once you've got ink on your body, you're no different than the guy that's got it all over his body.
You are, though.
I know, but what I'm trying to say to you is there any way that you can walk up to that person and maybe just say, "How are you?"
It's
rather
programming.
than that guy's bad because
No, I didn't say bad. It's just programming. I mean, it's just like Rocky said. First impressions. Okay, I grew up my whole life. I mean, I went to an interview. I've only worked at one place pretty much my whole life, but I went to an interview one time, and the guy's in there going, you know, I know who your people are, and I'm making a judgment based on them, not you. And I hated the way that felt because it's not right. So I have always tried to extend people the courtesy, of the benefit of the doubt. But still, in my mind, I cannot help. When I see that, I'm going to go, wonder what that...
So I
what's
really
behind that.
think that everybody has a little bit of this. For example, how someone dresses. I think everybody, I don't care who you are, based on how you dress, make a decision. Because as we said earlier, I come in all nice, dressed up and whatnot. Somebody's going to judge me thinking, well, he's some preppy kid. Till they hear me talk, then they know I'm just old redneck.
Well, he thinks he's better.
His wife dressed him.
He thinks he's better than me.
Yeah. So I think that it's actually built into us to have some kind of reaction for anybody that's different than us.
Right.
But I also have this whole discussion of, I really, the Bible says that, he knew each one of us specifically, when we were in our mother's womb. So I think there is a large outcry with a lot of the tattoos, the colored hair, the piercings, is to trying to stand out, trying to, maybe there is I want to be noticed in there. I know that's not always the case, but I think there is a lot of that today.
Well, with 8 billion people on the planet, yes, that's
I know,
the case.
but at the same time, everyone is uniquely different.
Right.
I just want to know,
Just like a snowflake.
But I guess you see
is
them,
there
you
a
can't
number?
go,
Okay, is there a number with you? So if you walk up to a guy and he's got long sleeves on, his pants on, and he's got a shirt right here, and you don't see any tattoos. What if that guy from neck down is completely covered in them?
I don't have.
Is there a number of tattoos that you can go, okay, he's okay because he doesn't have them past his collar?
They're all okay with me, I guess, once I get to know them. What I'm saying is, you're going to sit here in your mind, you're going to go through every scenario, just like Rocky said. Oh, that guy just got out of prison and this, that, and everything else. Obviously, that, because it's because the way I grew up, I was sitting there, people just didn't get tattooed.
Right.
They
because
didn't get
there was no tattoo parlor on every corner in every town.
And it wasn't accepted by society. And that's why I'm saying I cannot sit here and I don't judge people. But I can't help but wonder what is behind all the tattoos. What is behind the one tattoo? What motivated them? Because how many people do you know?
Some tattoos, a lot of times, like you said, yours is family meaning. A lot of times it's a memory of. And I get those.
What about the fraternity guy that got drunk and got one,
Well, that's a different, right?
Yeah.
He did have a memory.
What if there's some people?
memory.
Hang on. What if
Imagine were you drunk when you got any of those?
You see, that's the thing y'all don't know. That's what y'all don't know is you cannot get a tattoo drunk.
You can.
Really?
No.
You're telling me that those
I'm
places...
telling you that if you go in there
If you got enough money, you can get a
reek
tattoo.
of alcohol, they will send you packing.
In some places, not every one of them, because you haven't been to all of them. But I'm talking about
But
you
you've
go down to
never
Austin.
been in one of them.
I know. I have actually been in one time. I did. I went in one
Well,
time.
how are you going to
Hey,
base
tell
your
us about
opinion
that.
off that?
I
Can
went
you
in.
tell us about that?
Yes, I can. I wasn't drunk. A friend of mine was going to get a tattoo, kind of talked me into getting one. And I said, I have a fear of needles. And so I saw him going to work on him, and I saw the look on his face, and all this other stuff. And I saw blood, and the guy kept wiping the blood away. And I was like, nah, I don't want
That's
to.
not blood. That was
I
ink.
don't care what it was.
That was ink.
It did not look good to me.
Oh,
Okay, it did. So I went outside to get some fresh air because I needed to, and so I just sit out there on the bench. And when he was done, they're like, next, and I'm like, no.
So let me ask you this:
Were you pondering it for a moment?
For a minute, I was
He
going to
said
get
that
one.
he was convinced he was going to get one. So at that moment,
He was weak.
he was weak. Hey, and then you would have got the same thing I got.
Dude,
Hey,
it
you
was
got
peer
tattoos?
pressure.
And there was, oh, you're one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm one of those.
exactly. It was peer pressure, though.
Yeah, you.
See, I wasn't going to until I got talked into it.
I bet there's a lot of them out there that are peer pressure.
Yeah, they were like, hey, man, you want to be tough?
So when I see a guy with a tattoo, I'm like, I wonder if that was peer pressure.
Yeah.
You know, if nothing.
There you go. I should do that one.
I wonder if
That's
it's
what-
peer pressure.
Instead of going directly to the prison, I should just go.
it
I
might not
wonder
be pretty
if,
good.
You know, I think that's going to be my
Fraternity.
next tattoo. Peer pressure.
There you
Yeah,
go.
That's what I'm going to do.
Do it.
Peer
Yeah.
pressure.
Peer pressure?
We're probably putting that on you today, right?
Exactly.
So,
That's right.
no, really and truly.
So why don't you have a piercing?
I just don't want one.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's not that I have a problem with it.
No.
It's not something I want.
Okay, but have you ever seen a guy that had a hole in his
I
ear
have.
that was big enough for you to put your hand through, and you go, I wonder what that's about? Have you ever done that?
Hey, what if I was to tell
Have you ever done
You know,
that?
when I see a guy like that, I'm thinking, man, if I ever got a fight
But
with him,
I
I
can
go
hurt
right
him
there.
bad. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm just some circus
I wonder if his wife leaves him real by his ear. You know, those are the thoughts I'm having.
What if
I
I
have
was
an
to
advantage.
tell you that you know someone that has gauge holes in their ears and you talk to them on a regular basis and you would never know nothing about it?
I know he does. I see it.
I know.
But I'm just
I know
saying.
a number of people that, I mean, men that have tattoos,
The only
and I
thing
do
I want-
because of my upbringing. I'm like, you know, that's a no go. All right, you're a man. You're not supposed to have.
Right.
You're not supposed to have an earring. I'm sorry, I said tattoo. You're not supposed to have an earring. You're not supposed to have, you know, piercing. But I know I have a lot of friends that, you know, have them, and I will tell you that inside me, I'm like, man, I wish he didn't have that. I really think that.
Well, it's
If I ever focus on it, I'm like, oh,
Here's
man,
the
I wish
thing.
he didn't have that.
it's
What if you
embedded.
putting up that hole?
Right.
Well, I can say this, and me and Dane have had lots of discussions about this. You know, we've spent 12 years in the same office, you know, 5 feet from each other. And we've had lots of conversations about a lot of things.
Yeah, he's
and,
always played the devil's
and
advocate.
I always have. Whether I agree with him or not, I'm going to give him the other side of it. And all I'm trying to do is get him to be a little more flexible on things that I know he's strongly opinionated on. And I don't begrudge you
It's
of that.
perspective.
It's just I know how you see people.
And dude, I appreciate it because the last thing I want to do is offend somebody or come off the wrong way because I do. I wear everything on my sleeves, and you can see the expression in my face. Yeah, well, you can see the expression in my face. If it's something that I don't understand, you're going to realize real quick.
So I do think this subject, I mean, it really comes down to this. This really is a subject that we have to call opinion.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I realize there are Bible scholars. Some of them will say, you know, you're I guess you're God's temple,
Right.
and you're doing something with God's temple. But even that is somewhat of opinion. I mean, all the Bible says we are God's temple. I think there's no question about that. But you know,
It's application.
the temple gets decorated.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it does. So
Yeah, but like I mentioned
I'm
earlier,
not one that's going to decorate it. I'm just saying that.
I
But I
don't
realize
believe,
somebody else's interpretation is different. Than
right.
mine.
I don't believe that saying your body is a temple is saying don't pierce it, don't be overweight, don't cut your hair a certain way. I believe what its meaning is you should have God inside your soul, body, and it should be an outward sign. People should see God in you, not on you.
Right.
It's in you, and that's the perception I have of, you know, it's God's
So,
temple.
Okay, so to that,
From the heart, you're on the same place I am.
yeah, well, with the 666 tattoo on your neck, how does that say God is in me?
So I wasn't going there.
You said it a while ago, though. You can do crunches.
No, I know,
But-
I know. I was just trying to be
No,
cute.
I mean,
you know?
no,
Yeah.
it's true. Once they put that on there, does that
Define them?
Define them?
I don't know. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Does
They should turn
what-
them into eights
Exactly.
if they get saved. You know?
Exactly. What do they want you? What do they want you to get from this thing? Because that's what it's
just
all
walk
about.
on your hands and be nice.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, they wouldn't do it if they didn't want you to see it. Okay, unless they're like you and they put it in a place where it could be discreet. And honestly, if I didn't know, if you didn't walk up to me and say, "Hey, look, I got a tattoo," I wouldn't have known because until it was summertime and you were walking around with short sleeves. And then I would have said, "Hey, what's that about?" And you would have told me, and I wouldn't have had any problem with it.
Okay, and that's what I want you to do. The next time you see Leopard Man, walk up and say, "What's that about?"
I'm sorry, I'd probably offend him because I don't know if I
pretty
could do it with a straight
Leopardman's not
face.
gonna be watching us.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what we think.
And I don't think I could do it with a straight face, to be honest with you, because I really can't understand that.
I'm just.
Well,
I
he
just
went further than tattoos.
Yeah, he sure did.
Oh,
I mean, you
boy.
file your teeth down. There's some stuff going on up there. That's,
So for me, from a biblical standpoint, and again, not judging, but very much of I don't want to. I believe the Bible teaches you not to be a distraction, and you might be able to talk to someone I can't because you have a tattoo.
Right.
But for me personally, I'm like, well, if I go get a tattoo, then I can't be a voice for God. That's my personal feelings, is because I feel like I'm distracting people. So God needs us both.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because I think if I look at Jesus's life, he went and he went to the different
places you weren't
groups.
supposed to go. Yeah.
He went to the different groups and he was able to talk to them on their level and
Right.
was accepted.
Yes.
Right? I mean, he talked to the farmers about farming. And he could talk to the tax collector.
But
he could talk to whoever.
He didn't have the built-in bias that we have,
Oh, no question.
our generational
No
upbringing and all
question.
that other stuff. I mean, yeah, he was perfect too. We weren't. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing. And like Mikey said earlier, I think God loves us no matter what we do to ourselves.
Absolutely.
The point you were trying to make that I totally agree with is sometimes it's got to be all about God. It can't be about us always. And that's the part where, there's a gray area always. My sister,
From our view.
yeah, from our viewpoint, there's always a gray area, and always a different perspective. And I can't sit here and say, hey, I don't know what's in this guy's heart, and I don't know how he sees things, because he sees things different than I do, obviously, because
But that's actually what's really wonderful about everybody's different and unique.
individuality.
Right?
Yes.
Because us three, I mean, we're actually a good example of that, because we work together on projects. And what's amazing to me is what I see and what you see is always different. And then when we share together, we're able to create something. The three of us are able to create something that neither one of us individually was able to see alone.
Right. And it's about different
So
contributions.
you imagine that if the world comes together,
applied the right
the
way.
rainbow
Yeah.
world with piercings and tattoos come together and they begin to really share who God made them in here.
Mhm.
There is no telling what we can do. With this
Exactly.
world.
And that's what it's all about, is making things better.
And it all starts with
Education.
well, just
An open mind.
softening a little bit and going, I don't know. They might have done that when they were in high school.
And I agree.
Oh, that's always my first thought. They must have.
Yeah.
They must have been
Really?
young when they did that.
Yeah.
But I know that's not true.
No, it's
yeah.
they spend hours and hours and hours and spend lots of money for those things. And it's just, if we could just not look at them and go, that thug. Just say,
I really don't. I mean, everybody. I got a lot of good friends with tattoos.
And I don't look at it that way.
I mean, you're a
either.
good friend.
I know,
think
but
a
I
thing
give
about
Dane,
it.
I give Dane a lot of crap about this. But look, I've got tattoos, and when I see somebody that's covered in tattoos, I'm like, why in the crap would
Right.
you do that?
Yeah. No, and
Because you're never gonna. I mean, you're right, and I've said I'm on this side trying to make you see something different, but I
Right.
see exactly
it's
what you
perspective.
see
Yeah.
when you walk in, and they're like, "Well, I didn't get that job."
Yeah.
No kidding. No kidding. You got a spider web across your face.
Yeah. Yes. And I know. And that to me is, I don't understand how you could be that oblivious, because ultimately we all have to cohabitate. No matter what background you come from, what ethnicity or whatever, everybody's got to live together on this planet. And it's just like you said, it's perspective, and it's about education. The fact that you're able to educate me on your circumstances and I'm able to educate you on my circumstances. We can understand each other a whole lot better. But it's hard to be approachable sometimes. And that's
So we really focus a lot on the tattoos,
Yeah.
a little bit on the piercing, not much on the pink hair
right.
or whatever color hair.
Which just goes to show what our tolerance is.
Yeah, the one thing that's different about the hair, it almost doesn't belong in the same category because
It grows out.
It's
it
not permanent.
changes.
Yeah.
It's
not
a
permanent.
temporary thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
maybe
pink
that's the reason
hair,
why.
pink hair is popular this year,
Yeah.
but 5 years,
It lime green.
Well,
will be
here's
here.
the
Yeah,
deal.
what
I'll
we
tell
said,
y'all
I
a
think.
story. I'll tell y'all
Yeah.
a story about tattoos. It's no mystery. Gretchen's got a few, and her mother told her one.
Your
time-
wife.
my wife.
Yeah.
Her mother told her, if you get one more tattoo, I'm going and getting a tattoo on my ankle that says Big Brenda. Well, she's had 3 since that day, and I'm not sure who's going to take her. but she's gonna get that tattoo on her ankle.
Because y'all gonna make sure.
I'm gonna make sure she gets that tat on her ankle. So be ready, Brenda. You're getting a tattoo.
Hey, according to Mikey, once you start, you don't stop. It's just like Pringles.
Well, then that's the case, and it'll be on his face pretty soon.
I'm going for the
Spiderweb? Spiderweb, is that what you're
I'm
getting?
getting Dream Team across the
Dream
forehead.
Team. There you go. Yeah.
Let's carry
Dream
on
Team.
that tradition.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
There you go.
No, really and truly, it is a great discussion because all those things are culminating into one thing. It's our opinion. It's our perception of someone just because they've got pink hair or piercings or tattoos. And at some point, the past, it has gotten more tolerable. It's more acceptable. And I
more
think,
so than ever.
and I think that a lot of it has to do with back years ago that stuff wasn't there. I mean, you didn't have tattoo parlors everywhere, and people didn't know how to pierce anybody or whatever. It's just, at what point did we say, it may not be, it might just be something they like, and it's not the individual who's got it.
So you don't think it's a fad that's going away?
I don't think the tattoos are going away.
You don't. I mean, right now it's like peaked.
Right.
I mean, it's like.
I think it'll just, like I told you earlier, 3,000.
I mean, when
BC
all
was
these
the first
people,
tattoo.
this is always my wife's argument. When all these people get to be 75 years old, those pictures are beginning to sag.
Yeah. Well,
they don't look like they did. They're not as
The
pretty. as
ink's
they
not
were.
nearly as fresh as it once was.
Yeah, yeah,
You've seen
yeah.
the old tattoos.
Is that not going to be for the younger generation
Yeah.
to go, no tattoos?
I saw that and I saw the light. But that's too okay. And that's the point I was trying to make a while ago when you were brutally
Insulting.
Yeah. I'm older. Okay? It's
You're an ogre?
older. I'm older. I'm not an ogre.
Yeah.
I'm not an ogre. I'm older. So yeah, things are a little bit different than they used to be. Things now are acceptable that weren't acceptable 30 years ago. Things are, our tolerance has changed. And I'm like, Rocky, I think it's a fad. I think it will wear down. I think it's like you said, we probably peaked. We're going to start going back down because it's a certain personality that wants to be on display all the time. And because some of these people, there's a lot of regret, especially when, the guy that got it all over here, and you're sitting there looking at him in the restaurant, just like you said,
So
or he couldn't get the job.
I'm thinking we should end this with I have a new business we need to start, a tattoo removal parlor.
They've already got that. It's laser removal.
Yeah, but I can see this is going to be a popular thing. There's going to be big demand for it. And we could be, on the ground floor. We're really ready.
I'm pretty good with a flay knife. So
Play. Okay, I think we've wore this subject out.
Yeah.
So I do think that we are just beginning to touch on who we really are, because this is more of our daily banter.
Exactly.
We're not going away from politics, but politics is only going to be a small portion of what we do. And today, we definitely was not on, I wouldn't call that a political topic
No.
whatsoever.
And I hope it was educational.
I hope so. And we would really love your feedback on this topic. I mean, the comments are coming in, but this should really ignite you guys. And we really want to hear what you have to say. Maybe we'll have a part 2 of this very subject.
Exactly, and we can address some of this new perspective, because it was really one-sided. Because me and Rocky were basically had the same opinion. Mikey still agrees with us, but
I held mine back quite a bit.
Yeah.
You guys go at it for a little bit. But let's adjourn this for today, and let's get together next week. And based on your comments of what we talk about next, but we'll see you on the next episode of Deep in the Heart.
Thank you.
good night.